Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to some more Shadowverse Worlds Beyond. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel, whether you're new or you've been sticking with me. We've been growing, and that's been really exciting for this brand new game that's been out for about a little over 2 weeks now, and very soon we'll have previews for the new set, and that's probably always the most exciting time for a card game is new cards. But I'm still really just exploring all of this base set. Still missing a couple pieces for a few decks, a few lists that I'm looking at. But I woke up this morning. I knew I wanted to do something about Abysscraft because I really wanted to find something that felt like it worked. And then, of course, Ignitius, who's like a big content creator for Shadowverse Worlds Beyond, had exactly what I wanted, which was kind of a mixture of different lists, but landing on this list by I think a pretty top player, Briggsy, and sorry, just was like trying to figure out how do I view. Oh, I can just hit view. So what's interesting about this is I had been really feeling like the lists that were the best for Abysscraft were more of like the all-in aggro lists, but this list is kind of noticeably more mid-rangey. It's playing cards that I haven't really played too much with the faction before. And already this morning, I think I went on a 4 or 5 win streak. We'll see if we can keep that going here when we jump into the games. But obviously, it's best of one, right? You're never getting all the sense of like, is your opponent just bricking in their hand all the time, or are they just misplaying? Like, is the deck itself actually good? Am I piloting it actually well? So obviously, really, this video is just for learning Abysscraft, and I think it's usually good to start with a list that people are highlighting as one that feels either more powerful, better suited for the meta, or maybe just overall feels more consistent, because that's where I feel like this class has been kind of lacking, is how consistent it is. So I know we're here already looking at the list, so just kind of diving in, I think some typical players that we tend to see: Reaper's Death Slash. Also, I keep forgetting that you can Reaper's Death Slash on your Super Evolved card, and this will not trigger the destroy your enemy follower because it's indestructible that turn, which is a really cool little piece of tech. We see that often. I think Orthrus is in many builds. Same with Rage of Serpents, Shadowcrypt Memorial, Mukon, Aragave. Medusa I'm sort of down on, just because yes, it's like incredible into someone who has a full board, but because it's just like a 3/7 body, obviously you can pump it up with an Evo, but I just wasn't super into it. But I do think she can be helpful for then getting to your Kerberos in the curve, just like Olivia can, but Olivia actually has much more utility in this list, and so I think that's great. Fildau makes a lot of sense. And I kind of like the copies of like 2 and 2 of some of these that you're likely want to see in the game, but you're not hoping to see every single game, is sort of how I think about that distinction. Minnow, I think, does, you see a lot. Soul Predation. I think in some more control-y lists, you see this. I think it actually pulls its weight, because you do have all this kind of extra sacrifice fodder. And drawing those additional cards to try and like smooth out your curve, and sort of set you up into the late game. I remember looking at this card being like, oh, this makes sense in this faction, right? You've got little skeletons and bats and ghosts. That should be pretty good, but I just felt like I wanted to play more bodies. But in the game, Soul Predation has been pretty great for me for keeping the engine going. Little Miss Bone Mancer, I think, is just kind of the premier 3-drop besides Memorial. Yuna. Haven't really played with this card. Kind of looked at this and I was like, this feels fine. I guess it technically, you're getting that 3/5 ward. They have to chew through it. Then you're getting a ghost and a bat. And ghosts can be good because they've got storm, right? So you can just finish your opponent off a lot of the times by evolving your ghost, and crunching in for, for storm damage plus some other stuff, and then maybe finishing them off with the Serpent, deal 3 damage. But Yuna has felt pretty good so far. Like, ideally you go 2-drop into Memorial or your other 3-drop, and then Yuna. And then there's like kind of a lot of card advantage that you'll get by that next turn. You can use those ghosts or bats And if you go into Mukon, sometimes that can be a really, really nice swing. So she's kind of done a little bit more work than I thought. Darksteel Demon is interesting. Usually, most lists I think are running 2 or 3. This list is only running 1 from Rigsy. And I imagine it's just because like sometimes this card can be really awkward and clunky. Sometimes you're getting beaten down, and dealing that 2 to draw 2 is not great. I think there was a conscious choice here in the deck building to run more Soul Predation and less Darksteel Demon. And I think that makes a lot of sense. Although Darksteel's Demon of Evolution is pretty good, right, to pick off something that's quite large and pump him up to a 6/6. I think it makes a little bit more sense to kind of split your card draw across Soul Predation and Darksteel. It's even maybe possible that you should do like 2 and 2. Like I could see that kind of being an edit at some point. And just to get into some of the legendaries here, Aragave is just generally very good. The fact that it most of the time, sort of like Glade the Air Freshener, my favorite card out of Forest, just kills their board, presents a body, right? And that's just generally going to be very powerful. And if you're ahead and you can afford to Evo it to just Lightning Bolt, each player, but obviously you're usually going to be the aggressor in a lot of matchups, this guy can do quite a lot of work. Medusa, again, just kind of helps you get into your Kerberos at the end of the game. And I think, I guess maybe I'm approaching this differently with deck building. I generally don't know that I would want to have 3 Kerberos in the deck because I'm hoping to see at least 1 during the game. But I think you are hoping to see 2. And so you probably just need to have 3 Kerberos. And Olivia, I think specifically, really powers up this particular class because there are so many 2-drops alongside ghosts and things like that are, tend to have storm or tend to have some sort of effect on the board. And so the fact that she heals you up a little bit, which is important because you might take incidental damage from some of your cards during the game, she really can be, you get a lot of value out of Olivia. So it makes sense that we're running 3 for this list. Also keeps your hand relatively healthy. So this to me is definitely less of the glass cannon, rush you down sort of. This is more like mid-range, like truly trying to kind of like outvalue your opponent, wipe their board, present a body, wipe their board with Mukon plus Shadow Crypt, have a body on board that they need to answer, and sort of just outvaluing your opponent to the degree that then you can set up your pretty good Kerberos turns. The one note with Kerberos here is that with the Reanimate 1, you're generally trying to set up your, your Cocos, right? Which are so cute. I love these things. But the problem is that if you run bats, I don't think it prioritizes ghosts because ghosts are, they're temporary, they're ephemeral, whereas bats are just a 1/1 unit. I've had really awkward super evolves where I'm getting 2 bats back instead of Mimi or Coco. So there's a little bit of like kind of a weird non-synergy there. And I can't quite figure out if that's like detrimental to the deck or it doesn't really matter. So far it hasn't mattered so much because getting back the which card generates generates the bats. Getting back a bat with Drain can actually be quite nice, especially if they can't, kill it or have some sort of AoE. But like that's usually not going to happen. I think I'd rather have, a rush Coco or Mimi that's going to do something. So we'll see, if Yuna actually kind of has a little too much dis-synergy with Kerberos, then and might need to be replaced by a different 4-drop. But for now, I think we're just going to send it with this list. So far, it's felt much better than the other lists that I've played for Abysscraft, and I really like these more kind of aggro value-oriented, sort of like non-control decks, mostly because I have the pieces. I opened up a lot of Abysscraft when I first started. So other than that, let's get into the games. Okay. Starting off the fun with Runecraft. So, let's see how much damage, chip damage we can put on them. That's pretty important. Definitely want to try and curve here. So Bowmancer is pretty much always good. I think the rest I would mulligan. Just trying to hit some 2-drops ideally. Okay. Well, all right, this should be an interesting game for the YouTube. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty much do nothing hand, especially not hitting our 2-drop. But I guess I will probably just go Shadow Crypt first. Yeah, especially because we drew the second one. And then next turn I can like Bonemancer plus Reaper. I could crack this to kill this. Well, now I probably do. I don't want to take too much chip damage here. Okay, Minnow's also good. It actually kind of uses our play points more efficiently here, although this is better in the late game. I can also just play Mukon out and just double kill both of these. That actually feels very efficient. And then we'll see Anne and Gray next turn, potentially, but we do have the same kind of play there. Yeah, so this just feels like a decent value play. To just try and catch up a little bit here. Yep, and Gray. Just such an incredible card. This is okay, though. We actually have a really nice setup into this particular card. I've also got the Minnows. So yeah, we're just going to Little Miss Bonemancer, right? Because Shadow Crypt... could also use Shadow Crypt here. Because we do want to get up to... Yeah, but I get more value out of Bonemancer. So I think... Could also play a Minnow out here. Oh, no, I can't. I can't afford to do that. Alright. Yeah, we'll just do this. No point in evoing. So the second one, that's a little scary, but thankfully they don't. Would kind of, yeah, I was gonna say I kind of expect them to evo here. Makes sense. So I could play Bonemancer, Evo, and Shadow Memorial. I think that's actually pretty good. Our follow-up next turn might not be, but I feel like this is just good to keep us kind of in the game, so to speak. Still going to get our little bodies off this. Alright, and then, I mean, we're just going to drop Kerberos, and hopefully that'll be good enough. I don't love having such a slow hand against Runecraft, but you know, we haven't taken too much chip damage. They haven't been doing a ton of spell boosting yet. Yep. My poor little skeleton. Alright, well, so 7 is next turn, potentially 8 is next turn, right? So likely, you know, the worst thing we're going to see is Kuon. We do want to have stuff on board, but also we could pop the ghost for next turn, which is much better. We've got a good amount of shadows for Kerberos, which is great. So yeah, I think we're just going to play out one of the Minnows. Play out Fildau. And then the question is, do I Evo for damage here? Because this is pretty inconsequential, right, in the grand scheme of things. Like, Evoing maybe, you know, Aragave later or something could be better. Or potentially Evoing Phil. But also that's really slow. I think I'm gonna hold on to it. I think we're gonna need more resources than our opponent to try and okay. Yeah. Yep. I don't think they evolve here. If they do, I think I'm relatively happy. We're gonna get some decent value out of Kerberos. Question is, do I pop this to get extra damage? And I think the answer is yes. And then we'll pop the pup, Super Evo, and then pop the pups there. Yeah, I think that's how I want to do it. Alright, Kerberos, number 1. Okay, and we just want to go for damage here. So, we're going to go Mimi first. And then we're going to Super Evo. Grab another Mimi. Okay. And pretty good swing here in terms of life. Got them to hit them for 10. Okay. And Grea's pretty good. Getting some life back. Ruh-roh. Ruh-roh, Racky. For you Scooby-Doo fans out there. My friend actually does a really great Scooby-Doo impression. Mine's pretty lame. Okay. I think this is fine. I think Kerberos generally is going to allow us to... Oh, man. That's not good. I was hoping they were just going to put out this board and pass the turn. Alright. It's definitely getting harder. Okay. Super Evolve on that is annoying, but not the end of the world. Alright. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely Kerberos, that's for sure. I guess I'd play out Skeleton as well. Again, we just want to do as much damage to them as we can, right? So, but we also need to punch through as efficiently as possible. So yeah, we go here first. Evo. I'll rough you up and rip you to pieces. Alright. Alright, and then punch, kill is the best I can do. Yeah. Just hope we're not dead. I mean, they go to 4 here. I think we're going to be just short of lethal. Yeah, they've got the healing. Yeah. Yeah, this is what Runecraft does. Yeah. I mean, I've got one more evolution, but I think they're just out of range now. Got 6 damage here with Aragave. Man, we're actually so close. So if I play this... No. So this is going to hit 6-1. I Evo it. Kill that. Yeah, I don't think there's any way to do this, but I definitely have to play Aragave. Kill those. This. Minnow. Okay, we're not dead. Minnow goes here. Have to Evo you. And not die here. Hit there. Do I play this skeleton? I'm going to play it out. If they somehow can't kill me, then maybe this soaks up 3 damage. Yeah. Well, you know what? This is a good game. I don't think I misplayed anything. I think we just had to deal with some pretty good turns in Dimension Climb and all that nonsense. And we do have outs here. We could draw a second Rage of Serpent. And I think we kill them before they kill us, I believe is how that works. Maybe if we have Ghost. No, it's the healing. Oh. Yeah, the healing is actually such a problem. Alright, well. All I can do is sack this, draw, but Doesn't matter. Yeah, Orthus plus 3 Serpents. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can. No, I can't even kill that. Alright, GG. Another Runecraft. Alrighty. Yeah, they're all over ladder. I feel like this is the deck I see the most because of how powerful it can be. Alright, this is a much better hand than our last game. Aragave also helps quite a bit with Anagrea because it kills Grea. Rage Serpents we could keep as a removal spell. That's pretty reasonable. We've got Shadow Crypt. I think we just keep this hand. We've got 2-3, and then hopefully should be off to the races. Okay, another Aragave. We have a rather potentially aggressive hand here. Well, let's start with Phil. We're not going to have a ton of early pressure here. I'm hoping we can hit like a 4-drop. That would be very good. Death Reaper. Alright, well, playing at the Memorial. Head for 2. Almost always looking to hold the Memorial for, you know, something like Mukon. Unless I can really punch through. Okay. Alright, interesting. Could rage this and maybe Soul Predation here. I think we might as well just play the Minnow for value. Because we can. It's solid. Trade, get our skeleton. I don't think we play out the skeleton, right? Because I don't really want to give them extra value on Anagrea. Also, I can save this for a Death Reaper turn. Generally good. Yeah. God, when you're not going second against Runecraft, feels so bad. But we've got a good setup here, which is nice. Just gonna go Aragami. Get to kill both. Their question is, do I evo this? I think the answer is no, because the board is just clear. I also drew Olivia, which would be really nice with getting some damage. So I think we pass the turn here. We've got a second Aragave for follow-up. Yeah, second grip. It's really... I mean, I feel like I talked about this in my meta video. It's just really hard to deal with a lot of stuff that Runecraft does, but on top of it all, having to play through potentially double Anagrea in the mid-game is just... it's a rough one, let me tell you. Alright, we've got some good burn in our hands. Got another Mr. Aragami, which I think is obviously our most efficient play here. I mean, we've got like a good curve into what they're doing. Again, part of me wants to evo this, but it doesn't really do anything, right? Especially because I'm not able to... I don't really care about punching this unit. So I feel like I'm taking this slow, but I feel like I sort of have to when Anagrea is there. Now they're back to their play point. They could go, you know, Kuon here, and things get even more problematic for us. But I'm just going to kind of hope that they don't, which is... Okay, Rainbow. Get some life. Yep. And Blaze Destroyer. Okay. They could evolve, yeah. It's a good play.
On to the next hunt.
Yep. Alright, since we've drawn the second Olivia, I think we definitely are playing Olivia here.
Fly forth into an endless sky.
Okay, nice. We drew the Kerberos. I think here, although I really need super evolves for Kerberos to, I mean, to a degree, I think this is just too much value to pass up, right? So I get to kill this, and then I get to chip in with both of these ghosts and hit them for 4. The problem is it's not a permanent upgrade. So I could do it to Skeleton here. And then select an ally follower and destroy. Okay, so I think this is a pretty cool play if I'm not mistaken.
Now I'm annoyed. Even fate shall fall to this blade.
Not that it matters too much how I do this. So I get to evolve the skeleton, and then I'm pretty sure I can sacrifice the skeleton, it doesn't die. Right, and I draw 2. Okay. And that's all I'm doing. Alright, well, now we've got double Kerberos, which is... It's good, but we've already used the super evolution. Okay, 3rd Anangrea. Yep. So hard. Definitely have a ton of stuff we can do, which is pretty nice. I like how this deck feels in that regard. I mean, they've used 2 of their super evos.
Not the end.
Or, sorry, they've used 3 of their evos overall to R1. So that's something. Alright, and then this is the turn to crack this as well. To get a lot of value. Yeah, I actually don't even have to super evo this, I don't think. So yeah, let's do this first. Let's toast them. Well, I probably do want a super evo here. But I don't necessarily need to. That's the thing. Alright, I don't think I'm going to. I think we'll do it for whatever they play next turn, which will probably be like Kuan or something. Alright, so let's do this. We'll do that. Okay. Because this also leaves us options to save a Super Evo for Olivia. I doubt that that's what we're going to do, but... Okay, Sage Light. I mean, I think we've got them kind of on the ropes because of the evolution disparity here. Problem is, it's not going to matter once they play Kakaitis. So, I can't slow down too much. They have Dimension Climb here. Yep. Yeah, I would expect to see it on 7 or 8 energy most of the time. Which is pretty crazy. But we've got the second Kerberos evolution, which I imagine they assume is going to happen. Because that's kind of the only reason I wouldn't do it there. Alright, well they're playing out stuff for me to kill. So generally, that's pretty good. Yep. Alright, got plenty to do here. Let's get it kicked off. Let's toast them. So this is going to kill this. So I just kill everything else. Yeah, and I'd rather have the Cocos. So let's get that going. I'll rough you up. Alright. Get there. Okay. And we've got removal for their Kuana or Kakaitis. So I feel like we're in a pretty good position.
Get lost.
Yep. Alright. No more Evos left.
That was a blast!
Young Paragon dons his
Playing filled out. Interesting. I've not really seen that. Okay. Oh, gonna kill that. Evolving Eunice seems pretty nice. Can't play Olivia unless I remove something. Oh, right. What am I sacrificing? That I need to figure out first.
I treat all my
So I can do this,
specimens
then play
equally.
Olivia. I think that's
Fly
correct.
forth into an endless sky.
Okay, Mummy is good. And then we... Reaper Slash.
Made a narrow escape.
And then I'll Evo Olivia
My end will never come. The future is follow
to
my
keep the
lead.
board relatively okay here. We've got 6 damage in hand. Plus 4 from Mummy, potentially, so that's 10
This is not the end.
if they don't heal.
I give up.
the edge of what's known.
Second Kuan.
Get lost.
Yeah, it's a pain, man. Aragave would be really helpful if we could hit our third one. It's triple serpents. Okay, so we're gonna go Mummy. We're gonna go Olivia.
Fly forth into an endless sky.
Okay. And then we're gonna Evo here, hit, and hope they don't have healing. What's my other option? I could do this, but that can't punch through that, so that's not gonna work. Yeah, and then I guess I just play Little Miss Bonemancer.
All my specimens equally.
Now I'm annoyed.
Alright,
The future follow my lead.
let's hope. Let's hope and pray we have enough damage here.
This is
Yep.
not the end.
Oh, oh God! It's just they always draw every copy of Sage Light Teachings. Yeah, I don't think we can win now. We had exact lethal with that.
Narrow escape.
All right, I mean the skeletons are drawing some attention. Okay. Second Kerberos is, or third Kerberos is pretty good. And I can play Orthus. Alright. Alright, that was a really good top deck. that might get us there. Yeah. I guess I'm just killing these. Which spell boost their hands, but sort of is what it is. So doesn't matter. Slightly better to kill Kuan, I guess. Yeah. Alright. Come on. We're so close. I think we've seen 2 healings this game.
That was a blast!
21, jeez. Yeah. Seems about right.
New year, new me.
Okay, well, them playing that for value, like, doesn't really matter. Okay, Alright, I think the way we do this...
Unless you're pretty.
We're just trying to set up lethal.
You are not forgotten.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Now this will be a feast.
Okay. Alright, they are at the magic number. Can we hang in here? Oh, please, 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 please. Just play some dumb other spells that don't heal you. That's all I ask. Okay, dumb spell number 1. Fine. What else you got?
I have no regrets.
Yes! We did it, fam. Holy heck.
Be still.
Lightning bolt. Lightning bolt. Lightning bolt.
Still.
Jeez. Oh, but we persevered. We persevered. Okay. I was like, I hope for maybe our last game here we don't have to play Rune again. But I think this is a good sign for this deck, the fact that I can
we
beat
not?
Rune.
I wasn't built for combat.
No, it's difficult. Alright, so
Brings me back.
kind of assuming that most of these ladder builds are the aggro version. I think that is just the best for Dragoncraft. I think Aragave is generally really good. Whenever I see this card in the matchup, I'm pretty sad when I play Dragon. Okay. It's a solid starting hand. Part of me wants to play a third Devious Mummy, though, I will say. I think it's one of the best ways to push damage. Probably just Mummy here. But, yeah, because I imagine they're going to play a 2-drop. Kind of thinking sometimes it's nice to have the Orthus as a blocker for their Otahime token.
Watch where you spout that fire.
So, yeah, this is your ideal early curve as Dragon. Which makes sense. Little Miss Bone Mancer. Definitely a good draw. They've got first Evo. I don't really want Little Dragon Nanny to live. But also, I think I'm okay trading at least for this turn.
Treat all my specimens equally.
Bone Mancer's kind of annoying.
Stay close.
Okay, that makes sense. They hit me for 4. Oh, I was going to say, if we get a rush card, this is actually really good. Yeah. But we could also play Yuna, which I think is also quite nice here. And then go into Aragave next turn. Yeah, I think I like this better. Kind of annoying for them. Oh, that mummy sound is really something else. Alright. See, I mean, the best play here is Forte. The good news about that is Yuna is a bit of a roadblock.
Aragon dons his
Okay,
robe.
yeah. This makes sense. I would love to see some of the Death Strike. That would be really nice.
Stay close, Otahime.
Yep. They're doing a good job chipping me down here. But Aragave cleans up the entire board. Pretty damn good. And sure, I'll leave this for a little bit of damage. I think that's reasonable. But if I get hit with a Forte... No, not here. It would be next turn. So I have to consider that. I'm at 2 shadows. Need to get up to 4 for Orthrus to have decent bit of value. Shouldn't be too hard. We're on 6 play points next turn. Play Ghost Bat, Orthrus, and like Fildal. Or go Orthrus, Minnow. Yeah, our hand's pretty good. Okay. Oh. Hit me down to 9. Pretty bad number to be at. So I think we're gonna end up evoing this bat here to gain some life. I think that's actually pretty good. So what's the play here? If I want to evo this bat, I need to get up in shadows. Okay, I have enough energy to do this. I don't want to trade Aragave here. Oh no, I'm evening this. I'm not dead to Forte next turn. Should have thought about this a little bit more. I wanted to play my bat. Alright, that was a messy turn by me.
Stand proud.
Oh wow. They're just out of gas. Okay. Alright, well that's kind of a bad one to end it on, but I think we'll we'll call it on the games there. Alright folks, that's what I got for you today. I am really enjoying this build. Shout out to Rigsy, who I think had a 10 or 11 win streak in Diamond Masters with this build. I do feel like I'm playing the game a bit more with this build. I actually feel like the card advantage is noticeably high in this deck. Like it's really hard to run out of gas. You almost have so much that you can do on the board at times. You can actually save your evolutions for value rather than for pushing damage. I'm not sure if that is the correct play all the time. I think generally once the evos start popping, like you need to be doing that. But the fact that you have cards like Mukon, Aragave, and Medusa, all who don't need to be evoed to affect the board, is pretty nice. Same with even our little ward units that are kind of annoying. It is really nice to have little Bone Mancer and Reaper Death Slash into some particular builds that can, develop pretty problematic boards where you would need to punch through if you were playing like an aggro deck, whereas this can kind of craft kind of where it wants to go. And as you saw in that one game into Runecraft, basically we just had to like hit the magic number and then Rage of Serpents them to close out the game. And the fact that you do have the ability to have 9 damage out of your hand, that Kerberos is at times a pretty obnoxious threat. It's not necessarily going to end the game, but it generally tends to put you ahead when you play it. And I guess in a game where you play all 3, it's pretty good. Against Dragoncraft aggro, it's obviously going to come down to who can outvalue, but I actually think this is pretty nice into that because Aragave is really backbreaking to get around Intimidate. You've also got Death Slash to get around Intimidate, same with Rage of Serpents. You've also got some ward stuff to act as roadblocks, and you've got quite a decent bit of healing when it comes to Olivia, a little bit with Kerberos as well. Yuna, if you're able to get value out of the bat, which I think is probably why this is played, and I'm kind of seeing how it operates a little bit more. So as you can tell, I'm actually kind of excited to play this build quite a bit more. I was getting a little burnt out running aggro dragon, really looking for something with Obviously a little bit more of an aggressor role, but something that has a bit of a different play style. So if you're looking for kind of like good, at times a little bit grindy, but like mid-range value stuff that can be quite aggressive, I think this is a good deck to play, especially for people who are looking for a fairly competitive Abysscraft build. So thanks so much, as always, for sticking with me. I'll make sure there is the deck code. I think I've been putting that in most of my videos now below in the description. And other than that, I will catch you guys next time.